All right, guys, this is going to be a daily video update for March 16th, 2020. And wow, what a move in the industrials and the S&P 500 today. Let's go ahead and take a look at it and delve into it. And when I was on live stream, and I may have posted this in the channel as well, but patterns can be so helpful, right? So I pointed this out right over here. I saw this pattern where price came outside the Bollinger Band, but then the next day you see a big, huge rally. Well, what followed? Dump, okay? And then dump even more, but then look at the pattern again. Almost identical to this pattern right here. So you had to almost suspect that coming into today, that was going to be the possibility, all right? So now that things are way oversold, the question now is going to be this, and we have to scroll back a little bit to the December 2018 lows, right? And so that area is going to be right around 23.15. If that doesn't hold, then we're obviously going to have to go back out a little bit further, and I'm going to go to a weekly chart, and I mean, that is just, that's a crash, folks. That is like, you just don't see that very often, just straight down, right, on a weekly chart. You just don't see that very often. The sad thing about this, okay, and I hate to point this out, and hopefully this reverses very soon, otherwise it could get even more ugly. The squeeze indicator is firing to the short side, which we've already come down quite a bit, and you can see the slow stochastic coming off the top here. Let's just hope this thing gets some sort of something going on. I'm just saying this. Don't try to pick bottoms here. Don't try to. This is going to take a while to work through. Okay, is what I'm trying to say. So don't expect some sort of V recovery. Things are going back to the moon anytime soon. I think we all know that by now. But the charts show it. So on any rallies, I think they're rallies to be shorted. And at some point when this is all said and done, it's going to be a great buying opportunity. The question is it going to be a great buying opportunity here, maybe at the 1272 at 2000, or do we drop all the way down here to, my goodness, 1700? So we'll see. It's just hard to overcome this kind of technical damage very quickly. And I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to be able to come on here and say that I'm totally wrong. But with that in mind, you can still trade this, okay? There's bear market rallies are some of the most vicious rallies around, right? So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if tomorrow we're up 1,300 points on the Dow. Now, granted, we're down 20 or 3,000 today, and maybe it's a 1,500 point move. I don't know, but these rallies back can be so vicious. So just be very cautious if you're short and you know, risking that leverage. Play it smart. When you see drops like this, take your profits and then reshort when you get something on the upside. So that's the S&P 500 and just my thoughts on that. Let's go take a look at another interesting chart. This is going to be the VIX, and I'm volatility index, and I'm going to put it on the monthly chart. And we're approaching levels of the financial crisis, okay? The VIX hit 82, 83, maybe somewhere in that area today. And again, it fired off to the long, or it's trying to fire off to the long side. But we saw this back here too, okay? So it may not happen this week, but next week, maybe we'll get some better news as far as like, you know, as far as what's going on. Maybe the 15-day deal that Trump announced today will maybe get the trend going, you know, flat, or at least slow it down a little bit. We'll see. And that's all going to be based on numbers. Nobody knows. But when you see indicators like this, total fear in the market, I mean, that is like almost capitulation type stuff, right? We can only go off charts and go off what we have in the past, but that's what I'm looking at, right? And so that's the financial crisis, and that's when fear of banks shutting down. Does it get any worse than that? Yeah, it does with this over here. So will it make a higher high, or is that going to be it? That's going to be the question. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. So just thoughts on that stuff. Let's go take a look at Bitcoin, and I'm going to switch over my pointer focus so you can see exactly what I'm pointing to. Let me get it back on the correct color. All right, and here we go. All right, so looking out, the daily chart, right? And we've talked about this before, and I can remember back in here, I think, maybe talking about coming back to test the 200, the 233, even though price was way up here and everybody was wanting to go 20,000, 100,000. Everything comes back to test the longer term moving averages. Same here, came back and tested. These things are hooking down now, right? So we have to look at this as far as what happened here. So does this mean that we stop right here? No, it doesn't. Does it mean we can't play a bounce? Right, we can. Okay, you can play bounces in this market, but until we get some sort of clear definition of a bottom, and I went over this in a previous video, right? Bottoms don't most sustainable bottoms don't usually happen unless you go through this choppiness period and hold the lows, right? And you can see that this took from December all the way until March, 3 months of just chopping around. And then once you hold those lows, you get the 200, 233 coming back down, and then you blast right through them. Okay, that's what we're after right here. So I'm not sitting here thinking, could we get a spike up here out of nowhere? Sure we can. I'm not expecting it. No way. I just think what I would like to see is just kind of hug around in this area and just slightly go up, and then maybe eventually down the road, if we're looking 3 months out, we're looking into June, right? So we're looking somewhere out in here. But there is still a lot of risk out on the table. I would just say focus more in on not just a daily chart, but maybe go to your lower time frames and try to do some swing trading stuff. And I'll go into that stuff a little bit later. I'll do some more swing trading myself. But anyway, that's what I got on Bitcoin. Litecoin, not really going to delve too much into these too much, guys. Still holding the 127.2. And then back on Bitcoin real quick. It is holding that low. Okay, we talked about this the other night too. It's like you want to hold after you so far below the Bollinger Bands, you come back inside. You want to hold those lows and then see if we can get this lower Bollinger Band to curl up and then this one to come down. That's what we're after here. But RSI is weak. Volume, yesterday was big. So let's just keep an eye on this. It's not a time to rush in. Just if you're going to get in and out quick. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Let's go over to Ethereum, and it's holding the lows as well and holding this support area. Anything below this, guys, and you're going to see probably just mass liquidation, right? It's going to be big drops, I think. So let's just keep an eye on that. So with all that said, let's just remember the long term here, guys. This virus is not going to stick around forever. It'll pass. But the markets are always going to be probably a month or two ahead of the news. Okay, so just keep that in mind, that when we start seeing what we may think is a bottom, we still may be hearing bad news all over the news. But then at some point, everything turns, right? So just keep all this in mind. Stay safe out there. Protect your elders, take care of those people, and we'll get through this. So just you guys hang in there, and we'll talk soon. Good luck.